In our email invitations to you guys this week, there was one clear winner, one clear collector of clicks. Jordan Blackman received 3 clicks to every 1 click for the tally lights and the light panels, which is awesome. The Sony NEX6 is his current camera of choice. It's pretty inexpensive, and guess what? It's available from your friends at Midtown Video. This guy, Jordan Blackman, was the director of online gaming. He was a lead designer for Zynga, one of the biggest online gaming developers, I suppose, in the universe. After about 2 years of rising through the ranks to become the lead designer, he said, that's enough. I'm going to take some time off and travel the world. While he was traveling the world, he became he advanced his hobby in photography to the point that he became a professional photographer, such that he was featured in Stephen Huff Photo blog, StephenHuffPhoto.com, for his Burning Man pictorial shot on the NEX6. Let's check out a clip. How did you get interested in taking pictures?
Well, I'd been kind of a point-and-shoot guy for a long time, and you know, the funny thing is the device that got me actually interested in more serious photography was my iPhone, because I started shooting with it, and being able to shoot and edit and publish with one device really got me to understand kind of the whole experience of photography, not just snapping photos.
Okay.
And that's when I realized, like, I wanted to take better photos to put them through that process in kind of a more serious way.
So before we leave the iPhone, I think it's important to note that iPhone is the #1 technological device on which users watch the Dot Video show. So we got about 1 billion people watching you right now on their iPhones, kind of coming full circle. When you had surpassed the technical capabilities of the iPhone for photography, what was your go-to camera?
Well, the next camera I got, my first kind of serious camera, systems camera, was an Olympus OMD. So that I just kind of jumped into the mirrorless camera world because I knew I was going to be traveling with it, and I wanted something small, and that seemed like a cool place to get into rather than jumping to DSLR.
Okay. DSLR with its flapping mirrors, too many moving parts, was that the issue?
Giant lenses was a big issue. And the other really cool thing about mirrorless, I mean, I think mirrorless is going to be kind of the future, so I felt like I was getting started in what's going to be a huge, huge thing to kind of get to grow with it.
Okay.
But also, mirrorless lets me see my exposure right on the viewfinder or on the screen. So that to me seemed like a huge, advantage.
Okay. So there was a mishap with the Olympus, and you had to choose a new camera. And tell me about the new camera that you selected.
Sure. So I always spend way too much time researching these things. But yeah, my latest camera is an NEX6. It's a tiny, tiny little camera with a reasonably large sensor, bigger than the Olympus. Obviously, not full frame, but takes great pictures, and I only use a few lenses. I don't travel with a whole ton of lenses, so it works for me.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the pictures that sort of made you famous. This was portrait photography at Burning Man, and the first photo we want to take a look at is a guy dressed up as a banana suit. You want to set this up for us?
Sure. So that's this dude, a gnome, who I met at Burning Man. He was actually staying in my camp, so we hung out a lot, and he's a hip-hop dancer, and he put on this banana suit and was like hip-hop dancing just, out on the playa, out on the dust, and I just had to shoot it. And yeah, I was really happy with that picture.
So the theme that kind of ties all these together is portraiture. Is that about right?
Yep, I focused on shooting portraits.
Okay, so this next one coming up, I call him Bill the Butcher. This is the gentleman in the derby hat with the pin going through his nose. Tell me how you got that sinister look out of him.
The way I didn't tell him to do that. I was actually we were standing by. You'll find this interesting, Jesse. I was actually talking to some people who had their camp was all about logic and the benefits of logic and trying to teach people fallacies and how to be more rational. And I was talking to them, and I noticed this guy just standing next to me. And I said, listen, I gotta shoot you, and he gave me that, and the whole encounter was like 15 seconds, and I got everyone's email, so I got his email, and that was it.
So the next photo we want to take a look at is not of a human. This looks like to be a box kite. It's like a tower of cubes.
Ah, it was a sculpture. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it was made out of, if it was glass or what. But yeah, that was like a crystal sculpture.
You caught that one right at the magic hour, huh?
Yeah, I got
sun
the
is just at the
sun
horizon.
behind. Yeah.
Really pretty stuff. Let's. So this is the cover of the Stephen Huff photo blog that sort of launched, your review of the NEX6. So set up this. Looks like she's outside of the big burn with a bottle of Jack Daniels or something.
Yep. That's a close friend of mine, and that was pretty much how it happened. I mean, there really wasn't a ton of coaching going on, but I did know as soon as I saw that I needed like as many photos of that moment as I could take. I probably took about 15, which actually isn't that many.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean the rim light and the fire behind her, it was so beautiful.
Was there something special about the NEX that allowed you to achieve that, or with your iPhone, would you have been able to make that same kind of art?
Definitely not with the iPhone.
Yeah, contrast, difference,
dynamic range, and getting the focus, and there would have been a lot of issues. I actually think for that photo, I would have probably preferred to have the OMD because it has a really nice gyroscopic stabilizer in it, and
okay.
it really helps with the low light shooting.
Sure.
But yeah, I think having a camera with as much dynamic range and low light sensitivity as possible.
Right. So the Olympus was sort of sealed, dust-proof, and dust is a huge issue at the Burning Man. You ended up not having your Olympus. Tell me how you were able to protect your NEX6 and have it survive.
Well, I took a plastic bag, one of the little Ziploc bags with the slider on it,
okay,
and the heaviest duty one I could get, wrapped it around, put the camera inside, and then I like made holes in the plastic, obviously much smaller than the target size, and then I like stretched it around, one for the lens and one for the viewfinder, and then I put the lens hood over that, so it kind of locked that all in place.
Cool. So in keeping with the dust protection theme, it wasn't just cameras that need dust protection. It seems like all the people need giant goggles.
Yes.
So we've got this one, I call this guy Mad Max.
Yeah, that's another photographer, and a guy who, I originally met actually in Paris, and he was there shooting too.
Cool. So just two more photos I want to get to. One of them is dear to my heart because this gentleman is wearing a GoPro camera. I guess he's got his girlfriend there giving him a kiss on the cheek, and he's got a head-mounted GoPro. Were there a lot of people with cameras mounted to their body?
No, not as many as you might think. I mean, a ton of photographers in general, a lot of cameras around, but I didn't see that many people having them mounted to themselves like that.
Okay, you should have them call us because we're well stocked on GoPros. So next Burning Man, send all of the photo
I've got
people
one
to
with
Midtown
me.
Video.
I think they're amazing.
Awesome. And so finally, my favorite photo from the whole bunch. It's an upside down woman with a hula hoop. It looks like she's, I don't know, holding herself up. How did you do that?
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty big crop. So I was really impressed that the photo held up on that. It was very low light, and
it's like pitch black.
Pitch black. Yeah, there's basically like a fire, to her right. Exactly. The hoop is on a piece of like cloth that's on a hook.
That just ruined all the magic for me. I liked it better when she was flying. Do we have time for one more photo, Verge? Because we really ought to get to this one. This one I call Mary Poppins. Yeah. All right. So how did you get her to float like that?
But yeah, man, just crank up the shutter speed and shoot as many photos as you can so that you get the top of the arc.
Awesome, awesome. So we can find your work and your blog of traveling the world, finding social and traditional games on wanderplay.net. We can find your Burning Man pictorial/review of the Sony NEX6 on stevehufpphoto.com. Is that the blog? Yeah,
I mean, it's not really that much of a review, but it's kind of a mini review.
It's okay. We do mini reviews here, so we can sympathize. Anyway, thank you for taking some time out of your little surf village in El Salvador. What's next on your list to hit, place-wise?
Costa Rica, and south from there, gonna go to Panama, Colombia, and then see what happens at that point.
That sounds awesome. Again, thank you for taking some time out to talk to us about your pictures and about reviewing cameras. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Blackman.
Thanks so much for having me. See you later.
All right, bye-bye.